My name is Shashank, and I play rhythm guitar for Spaces All We Have. I'm also a video editor inside and outside the band. We also have Yogi, who's on synth duty. He's an incredible dude, super talented. He also plays for Pineapple Express. Do check them out if you haven't heard of them yet. There's also Dave, who's from Mumbai. He also drums for a band called Anthracite. And yep.
My name is Kashyap, and I play bass. The other things that I do in the band is like technical stuff because of my engineering background, and also like me and Dave, we share social media responsibility, and try to keep things going up there. And we have, of course, Krishna, who's one of the main guys behind the actual music and the creative process of the band, and Shizi, our vocalist, who's the guy who writes all the beautiful lyrics and makes you really like
connect with
the music, and yeah, he has a great voice.
So I'd say initially our sound was heavily inspired by bands like God is an Astronaut, Dead Letter Circus, and Porcupine Tree. But
yeah, a lot of post-rock and like ambient stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're moving towards Shizi is like very, very good at writing poetry and writing like small and fast verses. So we're getting into rap, like rap rock. So, and we're all very influenced by Bring Me the Horizon, Linkin Park, Hacktivist, and Devastator.
So Space is all we have. That's an interesting name because I remember on our processors, almost every second patch was called Spacey because we used to play around with a lot of delays and reverbs and whatnot, and we were just too lazy to kind of change the patch names. And one of the members just ended up saying like, "Oh, what this Space is all we have," and we kind of like held on to that name.
Yeah, it's a catchy name.
It's a catchy name. Yeah. Space is all we have, and it also kind of feels very introspective in terms of who we are as people, relationships within ourselves and with each other. And I think we're quite content with the name Space is all we have, and it does mean quite a bit to us, despite originating from a joke.
So Shizi, our vocalist, is actually in Kochi right now, and so he's been working on some music, and he shared it with us, and like we kind of jammed, and it's been like on and off, and in the future I guess it like lies in working through this remote situation, and we have this me and Shanks are now starting to track the new songs that we have, the amp songs. And Krishna has taken a break. He's writing an acoustic album. He's probably in Goa somewhere, playing guitar on a beach. We don't know.
he tends to disappear quite often, we have to wonder where is he. So we actually don't know where he is, but we hope he's writing some music.
But till then, yeah, we got the scene sorted now for the next album, and then it's looking good. So my most memorable gig was towards the end of our tour that we had in the second half of the year last year. That's the first tour that I was playing bass for Spaces All We Have, and we opened for Hubris in Bangalore, Phantom. And Hubris is a great post-rock band from Switzerland, and those guys are really amazing. They were great to chill with, and we actually saw that he was using this Seymour Duncan, the power stage power amp. Yeah, and we got it from the States, and there's a funny story to that because so we connected it the first time and we forgot to check the power rating, and it kind of got busted, and it was quite expensive. It was quite expensive gear.
We literally saw smoke.
Yeah, smoke come out of it, and then but somehow we got it fixed, and we bought a transformer then.
I think personally, my favorite gig was also at Phantom back in 2018. This was around the time I was leaving the UK, to the UK for my masters, and a ton of our friends showed up. The lineup was incredible that night, and I surfed the crowd. That was great, courtesy of Krishna. I surfed the crowd, and guys at Phantom, if you guys are watching this, Aditi, Suhas, Satya, and Prateek, we love Phantom. And we really hope that once COVID is done, or once gigs start up, that we can once again play at the best venue in the country, which is London.
So I think that there was this one time where we got booked to play at Foxtrot in Bangalore, and we usually have to like go early for sound check and that kind of stuff. And we walk into Foxtrot with in our shorts and our slippers and torn t-shirts and whatnot because we're broke musicians. And we're looking around for the promoter or the manager to say, hey, we're here for the sound check. And we talked to one of the waiters there, and he said, we're here for a sound check. And he's like, who the fuck are you guys? And then we said, hey, we're the band. We have a show here tonight. And the guy was like, no, you don't have a show here. It's ladies night. And we said, what? That makes no sense. But so turns out that was not the venue. There was another Foxtrot. We are not an unprofessional band. We are quite professional. Turns out there was another Foxtrot. So luckily there was enough time to get there.
Because we always go early for sound check.
Yeah. So fortunately, we didn't have to embarrass ourselves in our slippers for ladies' night in front of a DJ and in front of multiple beautiful women.
We had a great show.
We had a great show. We made it to the gig. Everybody enjoyed it. That was it.
So the theme of spaces all we have, musically, we're kind of influenced by like a lot of genres, and there's like a bit of prog, some jazz, and electronic breakdowns, and there's a lot going on. But the main constant is the ambient sounds that we try to put with the electronic ambient sounds. And topic-wise, of course, we talk about a lot of topics in this current album also. The title track, Thank You Universe, is like us showing gratitude to what we have, and just being grateful. And during this tough time, we have to all take a moment and be grateful of what we have. And like, for example, there's After Effect, where we talk about climate change and trees burning down, and so many things are happening in this country too. But it's good to see civilians are taking things into their own hand and protesting, and there have been examples in Mumbai and Goa where big corporations have been put to hold. So,
and I think there's quite a bit of reflection as well, introspection, and because personally I know that, and not just personally, even within the band, when we do listen to these tracks, there are moments there are moments in each song where we kind of tend to step back and reflect on what's happening musically, lyrically, and honestly, I mean, a lot of times when we write music, we get super sick of it. But when it comes to this record, I think even for us, it really makes us introspect with every listen.
Yeah.
So introspection was a major theme behind the music.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I guess the advice that I would give to people starting off is don't be afraid. Just go at it, jump at it. Being in a band is much more than just playing your instrument and being good with your instrument. It also involves a lot of managing things, like a lot of budget, and you don't have a manager and things like that. Everything has to be in-house and homegrown.
There always is a bit of discipline that comes with it. You may not be. It's okay if you aren't good musicians. It's okay if you don't have a lot of songs. If you're not, tight with each other. But just a little bit of discipline with, within yourself and with the band goes a long way. And I think it's also important to just have a day job. Being musicians, especially writing such music in a country which is driven by Bollywood and music that isn't primarily this. There's not a lot of money in it. So it's important to have a bit of income coming in, so that
so that you don't feel the pressure,
Yeah.
you don't sell yourself out to gigs and things like that, and you can actually do what you really love.
And also fund the stuff that we do in the band. Buy equipment.
Buy
invest in
equipment.
things.
Invest in good gear basically. And
Investments are important. The music industry. It's interesting because the music industry for the music that we play is, it honestly lacks a certain structure that's required for music. It isn't treated as a commodity like it actually should be. When we look at industries like Bollywood or even like the music industry outside of India, there's still a process to it which is lacking in the country. And that's not to say that there aren't good promoters or managers and so on. We personally know a ton of them who do their job very well. We're friends with them, we know of them, but the lack of structure makes it incredibly difficult for bands like us to move forward in this so-called industry. And even beyond that, I think
the spotlight is mostly on singer-songwriters, and there are a lot of young people who are blatantly ripping off tracks and trying to find the easy way out. But I think that shouldn't be done, because the future generation is going to look at that and kind of follow that instead of really working hard and making original organic stuff.
It's one thing to copy ideas from bands from other songs, which almost everybody does. That's okay. But we've come across music where people have just taken existing tracks and just used them and for their own tracks, and that makes no sense to me.
Without giving credit.
That makes no sense to me. And I think another thing that lacks in this, that is lacking in the music industry here, is basic support. I mean, you can say that about almost any form of art anywhere in the world, but at least people don't show up for gigs. There's no support for bandmates.
People only show up for the big bands and the famous ones on social media.
Musicians don't support each other, and I don't want to sound like hypocrites. We all do it. It's how it's been ingrained in us. But honestly, that has to change. Every day I try to make a conscious effort to listen to someone's new release. Let them know that it's good. Maybe buy their music. Share it.
Support,
buy tickets and stuff like that. At least letting them know, acknowledging that, hey, we checked it out. It really helps.
As independent artists, we need to grow the community and make it strong. And So the pandemic has been pretty tough on all of us. In the beginning of the year, we had just built up this studio space in Krishna's house, like I mentioned before, and we all have day jobs, but we made a shared calendar, and we made sure that we all came to jam on time, and we jammed every 3 days in a week. Making time, and this is pretty much a job that we are passionate about, that we love to do. And so when the pandemic hit, that suddenly just stopped, and the flow was completely thrown off. Shizi went home to Kochi because his office was work from home and things like that. And but we are kind of finding a way through it, because right now the new stuff that we are writing, the new album, it's been Shizi made some stuff, we made some stuff, and we've been able to share it across the internet, of course. And
and I think one of the biggest drawbacks of the pandemic was just motivation, because for starters, as much as we don't want to be afraid of this, there is enough reason to be cautious about it. And because of that, either we didn't show up for jam or we didn't want to write music. And at least personally, like I stopped practicing guitar, and because it was work from home, the work itself had increased. All of us were putting in like extra hours, for our personal lives. And by the end of the day, we'd just be like, you know what, fuck it.
We lost hope, but
we can't. We don't want to spend more hours trying to like write music, because by the end of the day, even that this is work, So finding that bit of motivation was extremely difficult for each of us, actually.
Yeah, for each of us
as musicians, and that definitely affected the band, because our plans were just
they just thrown me off track.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back on track now.
Yeah.
We managed to release.
But the trick is to just keep pushing yourself, just like you would for any other job. Like as much as people consider this to be a fun thing, being in a band, writing music, doing gigs, it is fun. But by the end of the day, it's still a job that we have to do. It requires that bit of push. It requires that bit of stress and anxiety over it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we did have to communicate. Like there was a lack of communication. Like we just stopped talking to each other during this pandemic. Like we all just cooped up in our own shells.
Yeah.
But pull through.
So this was a really, really cool gig that happened 2019. It was last year, wasn't it? Because it was KJ's first gig with the band.
My only gig with Shanks.
Literally. Because that was a point where, I came back to Bangalore from the UK just for like a week or two. And within that window, we somehow managed to get a gig. And it was packed. The venue was packed. We had
It was a Thursday night and it was still packed.
It was a Thursday night, wasn't it? Yeah. I think it was sold out.
Yeah, I think
Maybe it was. So a lot of people turned out. It was his first gig. It was only his birthday, actually, as a matter of fact. And it was fantastic,
and it was in B flat Bangalore, and
B flat,
yeah, those guys are like OG gig place in Bangalore.
And very intimate.
They shut down and hopefully they'll open, but it was a very intimate gig.
Yeah.
And then we celebrated Krishna's birthday, cut some cake.
Yeah, we literally, after the gig, we just partied there until they asked us to leave.
The bouncers came and asked us to leave,
And that gig specifically, we hadn't jammed a lot because, I don't know, for time constraints or whatever, like we didn't jam much. So we were a bit concerned about how that was going to go down, but by the end of it, it was really cool.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. My body was sore for like a day after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So one word that describes the essence would be catharsis.
This song started off as a sound check song It's like a tongue twister, yeah. And slowly, so each person would play like the riff, and then the sound engineer would do his thing. And then the verse came, and then I think Yogi, he joined the band, and he came up with the really massive electronic breakdown that's there.
That was the moment the song came together. I said, this is what's going to define the song, and then we realized that that's what's going to define the sound of the band as well.
And it's like a very high energy complex song, and there's a great solo also that Krishna put in later, so it all just came together. I think like the emotion is like being stuck in a really dark place and trying to pull through and come out, and I guess it's very relevant to what's happening right now around the world.
Definitely, yeah, and this also takes me back to when I said it was about catharsis, because initially I figured, hey, the song is a bit about hope, but it's not exactly about hope. It's about releasing this negativity. If you listen to the song start to finish, you go through different emotions. There are different moods, and I feel like that signifies a sort of journey. As cliched as that sounds, it does signify a journey. And by the end of it, with the hook, I think that's where the whole resolution happens. The song comes full circle, which does feel like a catharsis. So even after a couple of years of having released the song as a single, even when I listen to it right now, it does feel quite cathartic.
Yeah. So my favorite song is "She's from Venus," and before I joined the band as a bass player, I saw them live again at Fandom, and that last ending part, like I really love the bass line because it's dancey, jumpy, and it's fun to play. Also, it's a lot of fun to play, and the last ending bit where Yogi puts this the sub heavy, like very nice like keys piece, and I really enjoyed like that part of the song.
Personally, my favorite song has to be Keepsake. I was gonna say Craters, but I'd go with Keepsake because I connect with it on a very, very personal level. I remember back in 2017, that there was a lot going on in my life and each of our lives in the band. And I remember after one of our gigs at the Hard Rock Hotel in Goa, we got done with the gig, and we sat by the beach right after that, till about 7 a.m. just sitting and talking about things that were happening with each of us. And every now and then the topic kept coming back to Keepsake and how the lyrics actually resonated with each of us. So technically it may not, it isn't like it isn't like a very technical song on the album, but it's to the point, and I think it has a lot of heart, and personally that's my favorite.
So I guess the title of like the album name, right? Thank You Universe. That's the main message that we're putting out there, to show gratitude and to be grateful of what you have. And if you love our tracks, if you like it, please share it with people who have the same music taste and interest. And thank you so much for listening and taking your time out.
Yeah, this album was a very, very long process. And we're super glad that we finally put it out. And when you do listen to the album, just make sure you have an open mind, because structurally it isn't the most generic. It isn't how songs usually go in terms of the riffs or melodies, whatnot. It's not too conventional, which is a good thing. So please keep an open mind and be grateful for everything that you have. Thank you.
Universe.
you.